I'm Rich Lewis. Welcome to You've Only Come to Hear United. Manchester United 3, Leicester 0. My notes are a mess, but we'll try and go through the game first, then we'll have a look at the player ratings. So I thought it was a comfortable performance. We did well. You know, you can't ask for more than that. There's been too many games this season where we've had what on paper would be a game that we should win, and as we know, we more often than not have not won the game. Again, I think one of the places that I want to start is with Ahmad. Once again, he came off the back of the last performance, and in that first half in particular today, he was the bright spark. Probably, well, I say probably, definitely along with Bruno. He brought so much creativity to our attacking play, and I won't go too much into him because obviously we're going to look at the player ratings afterwards, and we'll have a look then. But yeah, I really enjoyed his performance. He gets bums off seats. It was brilliant. I thought chances were still a bit of a premium. That was another theme again today. You'd think 3-0. Obviously, that's a massive improvement on what we've seen already, but we didn't create a lot. And I think even if you look at the goals, especially the first and last, you're looking at individual quality and moments again. And that is something I'm hoping when Ruben Amorim comes in, we get to see a bit of an improvement there. But yeah, so great hit from Bruno for the first goal. Second goal, again, good. Bruno just getting in the right areas where you want him to be. It was a good ball in, caused a lot of chaos, and obviously it's an own goal. And I'm kind of hoping, we've seen in previous seasons, own goals been quite prolific for us, and with everyone else struggling to find the back of the net, if own goal can hit sort of 10 goals for us this season, I think that'll be a massive, massive boost for us. And then, yeah, first half we looked comfortable. Second half from both teams, it was a bit messy, it was a bit scrappy. The whole game dropped off a little bit, and probably was a bit of a boring watch for. I can imagine inside the stadium, it might have been starting to send people to sleep a little bit. But I think on the whole, people would have just been relieved that we're getting through a game without too much drama. The only bit of drama actually in there really was probably the chance for Ndidi for Leicester after the really poor positioning from Dalot, and he found himself one-on-one. But I guess you're going to be probably relieved if you're Manchester United than I was that it was Wilfred Ndidi in that position and not somebody more prolific. So yeah, that was probably the one, hairy moment for us overall. Second half, it was. Well, one thing I did notice actually was in that second half, it just made me think there's a ball from Bruno. He gave it away at sort of around 56 minutes in. He drilled a ball from sort of almost the quarterback sort of area, if you like, looking at giving it a bit of an American football reference, and he gives it away and it causes us some problems. I really want to see when Ruben Amorim comes in, just keep Bruno away from those defensive areas. He brings so much to the game in attack. He doesn't need to be the guy playing the Hollywood balls. I don't want to see that. It's a bit like when Rooney was getting towards the latter end of his career. He'd spent so much time sort of bombing around the whole pitch that you didn't want to. He was brilliant in that in his younger years, and even though he sort of dropped back, at times you kind of thought, you're so good going forward. We don't necessarily need you everywhere. But I do think Rooney was better in deeper areas than Bruno is. I think Bruno's very hit and miss when he's trying to play those Hollywood balls. He doesn't need to be there. Just do what you did today in an attacking sense, and cause problems. Teams can't live with you at times as well. We saw two changes on the 57th minute, which for me, this was very interesting because you've got Ruud Van Nistelrooy there taking off Dalot and Rashford, who for me were by far our two sort of worst performing players, which was absolutely 100% the right thing to do. I think and the players coming on again with the right choices as well. And I just think under Ten Hag, it's something you're not going to see until the 75th minute, and you're probably not going to get them both coming off. Instead of Rashford, Ahmad's probably inexplicably going to come off. Again, Dalot probably would have limped on for most of the game, and he'd probably just changed both our centre backs. It was something we rarely saw under Ten Hag. I did want to see, when we got into the second half, I'd like to see Ahmad sort of keep up that consistency from the first half. He still did have carry a slight threat, but, I think it's something else. I'm sort of covering all my Ahmad sort of stuff for the player ratings, but it's just the next step I want him to take is, can you keep that up for the majority of the 90 minutes? We didn't have much from Højlund. which was a shame, and it probably wasn't the worst thing for Xerxes to come on, but he's starved of service. It was just like there's nothing being created for him at the moment, and it's a bit of a thankless task being a centre forward for Manchester United these days. And obviously, yeah, we had the brilliant Alejandro Garnacho finish with the third goal. He nearly lost his hand not long after coming on. Bit of an exaggeration, yeah, I know, but he looked to impact the game. He looked more positive than I think of anything we saw from Marcus Rashford. The thing with Rashford for me is he's just not enjoying his football at the moment, and we'll come back to him in a moment because we're now going to move on to United's our play ratings. So play ratings for me. Andrew Onana is 6, steady performance. There wasn't too much asked of him, nothing too wrong there. Nice down the middle sort of performance. Diogo Dalot with 5, maybe it could have been worse, but there was nothing horrendous in there for him. It just wasn't a good performance. He didn't seem to add much to our game. He could have cost us a goal with his poor positioning at one point. He probably got a little bit lucky in that respect. That he should have really picked up a booking for a shirt tug he managed to get away with. Generally, it was just a messy performance. I think he's just off form at the moment, and maybe a lack of fallback options. I think if we had a left back fit, I don't think you'd see Dalot in the first team. Mazraoui's by far and away one of our most complete performers at the moment and consistent performers, and he'd have that right back spot nailed, and we'd have either probably Shaw or Malacia at left back. It's almost a shame Harry Mass hasn't found his way into the team as of yet. Maybe not a shame for Dalot because it's keeping him in there, but I do think he needs to come out of the team for a little bit. De Ligt for 6 and Martinez a 6. I thought they were steady performers. Nothing fantastic in there, nothing bad either. I thought they were very steady at the back. Mazraoui is 7. Very competent performance again, good to watch. I was tempted to give him an 8, but I think it's, as I said the other week, maybe if there's an assist in, I don't know, I'm really tempted I'm going to keep it at a 7, but he was a really good performance again for Mazraoui. Ugarte an 8, he was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Really, really happy with that performance. I thought he was very much a standout performer today, and he's just growing in confidence and stature, and we're really starting to see in recent games what he can bring to the team. Casemiro was 7, again, good performance from Casemiro. There was a couple of rash moments in the first half. You can see a little bit of what caused us problems last season. But just before I carry on with the rest of the ratings, something that I really wanted to highlight was Casemiro and Ugarte have got this thing going on. I used to find under Ten Hag quite a lot that the two in midfield could often seem very detached. And I don't know if this is by design from Ruud or he hasn't actually changed much and it's just the personnel and the way they like to play. But those two, for me, are like if you ever watch the Mighty Ducks, I don't know if you remember the Bash Brothers, that's Ugarte and Casemiro for me. They're covering ground, crunching into tackles, winning the ball back. Fantastic. But that's what they remind me of, the two of them together. And they're doing really good work for us in there. And I fully expect Kobe Mainoo to come back in once he's fit. But those two at the moment, it's working. It really is. Bruno Fernandes, an 8. His all-round performance, I guess, wasn't necessarily fantastic, but it was the crucial moments and the game-changing moments that he's capable of that they're the things that elevate him above a lot of the players. When he's on it, he can be the difference maker, and it was good to see that today. Marcus Rashford, a 5, as we touched on before. He just doesn't seem to be enjoying his football. There's something there that's not clicking for him. At first I was watching the game and I kind of thought he looked a little bit better for me actually at times. I thought there was a bit more purpose and positivity there. But as the game went on, it just seemed to drain away from him and he just became less and less impactful. I thought he was giving himself a good platform from which to build on, and it didn't materialise in the end. And if anything, he almost went backwards, I thought, as the game went on. Ahmad, an 8 for me. He was just really influential in the game. I was going to give him a 7 originally, and I thought back through and I just thought, including the amazing back heel for the first goal, the way he did that, I was getting Cantona vibes. I'm hoping I'm not going too over the top with that, but I did. It was just a beautiful moment, and he just felt like a constant threat and someone who was going to definitely unlock Leicester for us. And I think for that, alongside Bruno, he really made a massive difference today. Højlund a 6. It could have been lower, but I thought he really worked hard. He kept at it all game, and there was just nothing there for him. And it's hard to keep your head in the game when there's, you're not getting any service whatsoever. We were chance. We were really shy in creating chances for our forward again today, and he didn't let his head drop. He did keep at the task at hand, and it was a hard game for him. And I've got to just give him, I can't give him low marks when a lot of what was going on for him negatively wasn't necessarily his fault. You know, maybe he can do a little bit more to create chances for himself, but I think if strikers we've had in years gone by, and if they were purely, having to rely on creating chances for themselves, not getting the service, then they wouldn't have half as many goals as they ended up getting for us, Ruud included. Substitutes, Johnny Evans a 6, steady when he came on. Garnacho a 7. He was really positive, very wasteful again at first, but then obviously goes and crashes one into the top corner. It was a fantastic goal. He deserved it. As I've said in recent weeks, he's been picking up a bit of stick, but he just keeps going and going. It's in a way that Rashford has looked in recent weeks a little bit almost burdened by the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, maybe because he's more of a senior player now. I think Garnacho is a bit unburdened by that, and he's still, he's got a bit more room to find his feet because he's a much younger player, and people expect a little bit of inconsistency there. But he keeps going, and he got his rewards today with a fantastic goal, and it was a great way to finish off Ruud's short reign at Manchester United. Joshua Zirkzee is 6. I thought he looked quite tidy when he came on, actually, in a couple of good passes, as we saw against Pauk as well. I'm hoping there's something there for him to start to build his confidence, a little bit. As I said with Højlund, being a centre forward for United is a thankless task at the moment. And then Christian Eriksen is 6. There was a wonderful pass in there towards the end. I can't remember who to now, but it was to set us on the attack. And yeah, he's been so dependable this season. It's been a massive step up from last year when he looked like he was his United career was winding down almost. And I guess Ruud, let's give Ruud a good sort of 9 out of 10. If he beat Chelsea, it would have been a 10, but he's for his reign, that is, he's come in and he's really steadied the ship. I think he's given players some confidence back. I think he's given the fans something to smile about. I think it's brought a little bit more enjoyment back to the place, and he's really laid some good foundations for Ruben Amorim. And yeah, that's when we'll be back after the international break now, and to begin the start of a new era. And if you want to be part of that, please subscribe to see those videos that I'll have coming up at the start of the Ruben Amorim reign at Manchester United. And don't forget to like the video as well. See you all soon.